Alright, welcome back. Just like I stated in my Lucy video about the movie Lucy, I recommend that you see the movie Dark City. So this is what this was going to be about. I want you to take down all the names. You can go to Wikipedia, like I said, just these are the main characters. So I'm going to break down their names, and then I'm going to move the camera down. We're going to deal with the topics and then the Cabala tree of life. Alright, so the main character is John Murdoch. The name John means God's mercy and grace, or the mercy of God, so on and so forth. His last name Murdoch means descendant of a semen. So just a play on words, talking about semen or sperm. So a descendant of a semen, or descendant of a man of a sea. Alright, so that'll come up later. So Dr. Daniel Sherber, played by Kiefer Sutherland. The name Daniel means God's judgment, or God is my judge. Schreber is the same word as Schreiber, so it means scribe or writer. So what you're dealing with is the Kemetic or Egyptian deities Mayat, which is truth and justice, which is the same as Daniel, and Thoth. Thoth is where you get the word thought, and so on and so forth. You may have heard of Tahuti, Thoth, which later became Hermes or whatever have you. But Thoth is thought or scribe, so he's basically a scribe or the writer. So that's Mayat and Thoth, which were basically husband and wife in the Egyptian mythology. So you can look up Mayat and Thoth for a little bit further on that. So that's what Daniel represents. Then you have Emma Murdoch, which is John's wife. Her first, and by the end of the movie, her memories were exchanged, and her name became Anna. So the name Emma means entire or whole. All right, what she's going to represent is that 90% of consciousness that we don't use, sometimes referred to as the left side of the brain. So basically your right side of the brain, that logical side of your brain, or masculine, is we analyze everything, which means breaks things in part. So the holistic part of our brain, or the creative or imagination side, is the feminine side that we're said not to use. Now they're trying to debunk this myth and say we don't use 10%. That's a myth. Just understand, we're not talking about the physical brain. We're talking about 10% of your consciousness. So just in case you know scientists want to come out and say that's not true, if the left side of your brain stops working, the right side of the brain will still function. So all that is true. So we're dealing with spirituality. We're talking about 10% of your consciousness. We just divide it up in a physical way so we can break it down in these mythologies. All right, so Emma, what Emma represents is that 90%, or that right side of your brain that puts everything together. So she's holistic. So the name Emma means whole or entire. Later, her name becomes Anna at the end, which is favor or grace. Because remember, she's basically the same thing. She's a physical grace. So now you became favorable by combining and getting your whole 100%. That's what the movie Lucy about. Because now she's combined with God's mercy and God's grace. So Murdoch means God's gracious. God is gracious. So this man is gracious is what Anna basically saying. So you're dealing with a physical grace and then spiritual grace. All right. So lower, that's when the lower is connected with the upper, if that makes sense. All right. The name Frank Bumstead. Frank means the free one, or one who is free. All right, so that's the detective. Oh no, yeah, he was like an inspector or something like that. He was over all the detectives. But Bumstead, they really didn't have a etymology for this, so I kind of made it up. I looked at the word bum or hobo, and you come up with hobo or devotee. So he's pretty devoted in the movie once you see it. Stead, I kind of took it like from homestead or stead. So it's basically a place or a role of someone else. So you basically taking the place or the role of someone else. So once you see the movie, you'll understand that he basically was devoted, and the whole movie is basically people taking the role, really the memories of someone else. All right. So May is the prostitute in the movie. She represents Maya, or illusion. So the physical world is an illusion. Maya, M-A-Y-A. M-A-I-A is the earth. Earth goddess, a Greek goddess of earth. So earth is the illusion. That's the 10th Sephira. So also it means midwife. So we're dealing with birth, because when we get down to Detective Eddie Walensky, the name Eddie means wealthy guardian. So you look up the word prostate. I told you in my other video, Land of Milk and Honey, that the prostate gland, prostate means guardian. All right, so that's your guard. Walensky was just a surname or a last name that really didn't have any meaning. I couldn't find it. It's the same as Wolenski, Wollenskiy. All right, so now we get down to Uncle Carl Harris. Carl means free man or of low birth or husband, common man. All right. If you look at the movie, the word, remember I told you the word husband means housebound. They portray him as being the person in this what I want to call it, aquarium or amusement park, aquarium and amusement park place called Neptune's Kingdom. So he was bound to that kingdom. So husband means housebound or house slave. And how they portray this in the allegory of this movie, they had him in a wheelchair. So as if he couldn't leave the house. He was unable to leave the house. He was locked up in the inside. Because if you look in the movie, John had to break into Neptune's kingdom to get to his uncle. All right. The name Harris means son of Harry. So Harry means ruler. So he's been ruled. He's a son. He's been ruled by someone because he's bound. Because remember, he's bound. He's a slave of the house of Neptune in this movie. All right. All right. So I'm gonna move that down. You can copy down those names. So do your own etymology on it. Like I said, this is just my interpretation. So you can look at Wikipedia and get the plot, but I do recommend you see the actual movie. But if you haven't seen the movie, you can go to Wikipedia and at least you can follow along a little bit. All right. So I'm gonna do my best to summarize the movie. All right. So the movie starts with John Murdoch waking up in this tub in a hotel. When he leaves his room, you're gonna see the room number on his door is 614. That equals 11. So what we're dealing with here is the hidden Sephirah, Sephirah number 11. Remember I told you 11, 22, and 33 are master numbers. So 11 is a gateway number. So that leads you to what they call it the tree of death. But you're going to do Dath. Dath is knowledge in Hebrew. So what you need to understand is sex. The tree of knowledge in the Bible means the tree of sex. 'Cause to know in the Bible is a euphemism for sex. So the tree of knowledge is the tree of sex and death. Sex and death is the same thing. So when you go back here, it's kind of like you gotta die to be reborn again. That's all they're talking about. Or if you see God, you have to die. No one can see God without dying. That's what they're talking about. Don't think of it in terms of physical death. So you cut through there. So this is the abyss, or I told you this is what Masons are talking about. This is the G. The G stands for gnosis. Gnosis is Greek for knowledge. Diath is Hebrew for knowledge. All right. So the whole movie is about him trying to get back to his childhood place called Shell Beach. The tree of knowledge in Cabala is called Qliphoth. QL is spelled differently. Sometimes you can look it up in Wikipedia. Qliphoth, and it translates to mean the shells or the husks. So in this movie he's talking about trying to get back to Shell Beach where he's from. So I told you this is in the movie Star Wars. This is portrayed by Darth Vader. Luke had to know his dark side before he can go up to the top. So all these movies using the same blueprint. The same blueprint. All right. Go back to the beginning of the movie when when John woke up in the tub, which is inside some water. It basically symbolizing water birth. So you know water. Because I told you he's a semen. He represents sperm. So sperm is born into the womb, and when he leaves his room, which is the gateway, which is 11, he has to go down these stairs, which is a spiral staircase. At the bottom is a checkerboard floor. So what I tell you about the checkerboard means DNA. The spiral is basically symbolizing the double helix or your DNA. So this is your DNA. This is about him coming from the mind going into a physical form. Because remember, sperm is really in the head. Conception and inception. I did a movie a breakdown of the movie Inception. You conceive thoughts in your head. Everything starts off in the head. You don't really conceive in the genital area. Your sperm goes down, so it starts off as shemen. The Hebrew word is like the oil in your spine, or holy oil is shemen, and it comes down into the tree of life and becomes semen. So you conceive. Everything starts off as a thought. Thought is energy, and thoughts become physical things. That's what this magic is all about, and that's what this movie is about. So basically, Murdoch is coming down from his head, because if you look in the movie. He's bleeding from the pineal gland. They inject him right between the eyebrows, right a little bit above or between the eyebrows, right above the nose. What was I? Because the whole movie is about him having the ability to tune. So that's what magic is supposed to be about. Changing your physical reality using your will. That's all it is. This is not no hocus pocus pulling rabbits out your hat and all that stuff. And it's not going to happen like in the movies. If you do a magic ritual for money, the money is not going to appear. it has to come by natural physical. It has to go through the physical laws. But what magic does is align you up with certain what's the word I'm looking for? It basically facilitates your ability to get it. Like for instance, you might run across some money that somebody dropped in the park. You probably wouldn't ordinarily went into the park. Let's say your car broke down somewhere and you had to walk through the park and you find the money, something like that. So that's all I can come up with at the top of my head. It sets up the circumstances for you to get it, but it's gonna have to be a natural and follow the physical law. So it's not gonna just appear. So we're not talking about the magic you see in the movies. That's just how they portray it. All right. So he had the ability to tune, just like the strangers. The next thing is at number 7. May was the 7th prostitute that he was supposedly had killed. All right. So you just always know when they talk about prostitutes like Mary Magdalene or something like that, it's basically always 3 type of women. I don't want to go too far into that, but this represents the physical woman or the physical world. So Maya is the illusion or the physical world of Earth. So it was. The movie started off with 6 prostitutes or hookers already being slain. She became the 7th one, and they drew spirals on her as a ritual, and it's supposed to have been a ritual murder. So what they're talking about is the spiral is everything comes into existence through a spiral. So I don't want to get into sacred geometry, but just look up sacred geometry and the golden mean spiral and so on and so forth. But everything starts off using a Fibonacci sequence. The spiral in your head, if you look at your hair pattern, just look up sacred geometry. I ain't gonna go too far in it, but just everything comes in a spiral. So they had spirals in this movie, and you probably see the Saw movies with the clown dude. He got spirals on his cheeks. All right. I told you we're dealing with seamen and fishermen. He also saved a fish in the beginning before he left the hotel. When he woke up and there was a dead body in the room. So John, he broke a fish bowl. So we're talking about the king of fishermen. We're dealing with the Jesus story. He's playing Jesus in this story, or John the Baptist, if you will, who was the predecessor to Jesus. And he put the fish inside the tub so the fish wouldn't die. All right, so that's another sacred geometry symbol. Look up Vesica Pisces. Vesica Pisces, because you'll see pictures of Jesus inside like the middle where 2 circles intersect, kind of like the MasterCard logo. All right, so I'm trying to cover everything, and then I'll go into the Cabala Tree of Life. The next thing was Mr. Hand. Mr. Hand ended up being injected with the thoughts of John. They were trying to locate him. This will make sense if you see the movie. But Mr. Hand, the Hebrew letter Yod, the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which is Yoda, was the most powerful Jedi. Go look at my Star Wars video. Yod is the smallest letter, but it's in every Hebrew letter. Every letter starts off with a dot, and from that dot, you start a line. So that's what a Yod is, a dot with a line, and every letter starts off with a point, and then you start tracing from that point. So Yod is considered the smallest but the most powerful Hebrew letter. All right. So and Yod, the hieroglyph for Yod is the hand. So that's why they injected Mr. Hand. And Mr. Hand, I'll wait till I get to the Cabala Tree of Life to discuss that. Mr. Book was the leader in this of the strangers. Why Mr. Book? Because most of you, and based on your questions, you keep asking me about the same book. So I just put Bible in parentheses. We seem to want to get all our information out of book when the book was really about us. What I'm trying to teach you is to use your body. The people who wrote those books is 66 in the Bible. The Bible is not one book. It's 66 different books. The men who wrote those books and translated them, so on and so forth, were really writing allegories about your body. So why not discuss? Why not study yourself, know thyself, instead of worrying about the book? I've done enough breakdowns on these books. And if you want to break down the stories, you should break them all. You should be able to break them down now based on the information I've given you. All right. So it states in the movie that the strangers, and they're pale, they can't stand water or sunlight. So it's the same as I Am Legend. Whenever you lack melanin, because I told you in the Lucy movie, she became melanin thing. Whenever you lack melanin, you can't really absorb sunlight very well. So that's why most of the time you get cancer and so on and so forth. You become cancerous. So this collective consciousness they talking about is how they use the book or the Bible and other religions and religious books to make you conform. So this is the conformity. This is what everybody is conforming to. All right. So Neptune's kingdom. Neptune is basically the god of the sea. He's equivalent to Poseidon. So you're dealing with the god of the sea. So we're talking about seamen. So he's the one that John descended from. All right. I already talked about the checkerboard floor, so on and so forth. All right, so now let me just break some of this down using the actual Cabala tree of life. All right, so what I wrote out here is up here on top of the Cabala tree of life. These are the 3 levels of negative existence. It starts off with Ein, which is nothing. I spelled it different ways. Sometimes it's spelled E-I-N, A-I-N, or A-Y-I-N. And Sof is sometimes spelled S-O-F, S-O-P-H. Or light, I told you that memories is the same as Moses. Mem is water, or is light. So that's what your memories are. But or can be spelled O-H-R, O-R, or A-U-R. That's where you get the word aura. Your aura is around you, so your light field. All right. So these are the 3 negative existence. So this is also the 3 stages. This is what God started off as nothing, no thing. So once you label God or try to define him, then you're limiting him. So this is no thing. This is the void that the Bible is talking about. And Ein Sof is limitlessness. So this is Adam Kadmon. I told you to look up Adam Kadmon. This is basically the creation of nothing. End up creating the heavenly man. So it's our blueprint is in the stars. So we really have no beginning and no ending. We came from the star. Matter of fact, they're starting to admit that we're 95% stardust. So we made up of the same material. Our physical bodies are made up of the same materials as the sun. The sun is just a star. So I told you Jesus is really you. Jesus is an allegory. That's why they don't really have much information on Jesus. You got the birth of Jesus, and then the next thing you see is when he was 12 years old. They got that number again. And then the next thing is when he started his ministry at 30, which is really 3. 3 and 12, I told you they always going to have 3, 7, and 12. This matrix or this physical illusion was made by those Hebrew letters. The 3 mother letters, the 12 single letters. So that's what the 12 and all that stuff for. So they don't have any more information on Jesus. Then the next thing you know is he's 33, which is a master number. So that story is an allegory. He's just a character in your body. All right. So that's what we're dealing with. So what happens is this is the triple darkness or the 3 trimesters that everyone is born through. So this is creation. All right. Up here is these 3 up here. The Sephirah number 1 is ruled by Neptune. This one, number 3 is ruled by Saturn, so on and so forth. But this is Neptune's kingdom up here. All right, so this is what John descended from. He ended up down here in number 9, which is the land of milk and honey. So this is Yesod. Yesod is the foundation. Okay. Let me go back. So Mr. Hand is Yod. So I told you he came up here. What he's trying to do is get John's memory, because John came from up here. He descended from up here. And so that's why Yod is up here. Yod, hey, remember, when you go below this abyss, or number 11, you start becoming physical. Because remember, HWH or Hawa is really Eve's name. And that's when and Eve means living or life. So you become physical. And you really start dying. So the physical life is a prison. Incarnation is the same as incarceration. Alright, so down here we end up in illusion, which is number 10. The 10th Sephirah is Malkuth, and that's what the hooker prostitute represented the illusion or earth. So if you go to Inception video, remember Leonardo da Vinci character, his name was Dominic, which was the Lord. So Dominic or Leonardo da Vinci, DiCaprio, he played John's character. So he wanted to leave his wife Malkuth, leave the illusion and go up. Because remember he said it was 3 levels to a dream. This is the only one that really points up, these first 3. So these 3, which is Eve or life, when we become physical, points down. This points down, this points down, this goes down. So this is where we are. All right. If you look at the Thor, the dark world, they made a lot of movies about darkness. Into the Darkness, Star Trek, Into the Darkness. So the dark world is all about the shell or the Kalipov. Because Malkuth is the character that was trying to bring those dark elves back to life. So it's all about the dark side. Malkuth goes. So if you want to look at Thor and the Dark World, it's Malkuth was the main character of that one. Well, not the main character. You get on the main bad character. Trying to bring back him as an army of dark elves, which is behind this tree. So behind this is the real tree, your subconscious mind. And to get through that is number 11. 11 is Pluto. So remember Neptune. This is Neptune's kingdom. Neptune had 2 brothers. Neptune had Jupiter and Pluto. So the equivalent to them are Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades. Now, if you go to I'm going to sidebar with another movie, the Titans movies, the War of the Titans and the Clash of the Titans. They basically saw how Zeus killed their father or imprisoned him, Saturn or Kronos. Kronos mean time chronologically, or Saturn and so on and so forth. They basically imprisoned time, put him time up and locked up time. and I got him trapped. So we basically were trapped in space and time, which is an illusion. And Poseidon took over the sky, Zeus took over the earth, and Hades took over the underworld. Underworld is just another word for your subconscious. So that's the same thing with Neptune's kingdom. Neptune, Jupiter, and Pluto. Jupiter is Sephira number 4. Pluto is the hidden Sephira, or the underworld. So Hades is this gateway to the dark or underworld. Zeus is basically the sky, if you will. I mean, Poseidon is the sky. Poseidon and Neptune. So it's not really the waters. Your body is a water. Your whole body is like 85% water, 75 to 85% water. So that's what Poseidon rules over, the earth, or your physical body, your watery body. And Zeus is the earth, or the flesh. Okay? So if you look at those movies, and you can Google them if you haven't seen the movies, look at the plot. The plot will tell you in both of those movies. The whole movie is really about how you were really the Titans. That's what the story is really about. What you've forgotten is that you're the Titans. We created these gods in this area right here, but then we fell down here. So this 6 and anything below this is the physical world. So these are the gods. We made those thought patterns for a reason. But what happened was we were Titans, and we forgotten. We created these gods, and then we dropped down here. We start worshiping these and being fearing them. So if you watch the movie, it'll tell you these will die. These thought forms that we worship, Yahweh, Adalabaroth, and so on and so forth, the Olympians, they'll tell you if you stop having faith in them or praying to them, they'll die. And then Pluto, Hades in the movie realized like he don't need you to pray to him or have faith in him. He said fear works just as well. So fear is almost on the same frequency as love. So he figured out, man, as long as I keep them afraid of me, I'll also have immortality. They're basically telling you these guys, the gods you worship will die once you learn that you are really the God. You are the creator. You are the Titans, really. Okay? So that's what that movie is really telling you. It's telling you your secret. So you can go back and watch that. So the Titans are equivalent to the Elohim. The Elohim are the let us, make man, the us. So we made Yahweh. So Elohim, or the 7 colors, or the 7 bands of light, so on and so forth. So the Elohim is in Genesis 1. Yahweh doesn't show up to Genesis 2. And you don't know that because you don't really know Hebrew, so you're looking at the English version. They say let us, and they try to tell you, they try to sell you on that Trinity shit. That's just made up. The Trinity they're talking about is these 3 up here. That's above the abyss. Alright? And just like I told you, this is like Yeshua, which later became Jesus, comes between. Yah is the upper part of your body. Way is the lower part. So you need to use that Ka symbol to call in Shu, which is air or breath or the Holy Spirit. So it becomes Yeshua. So really, you're just basically balancing your upper and lower half. I told you that in the Jesus story. That's all Yeshua really becomes. So you basically your upper body, upper physical body, and lower physical. Because Yahweh is really your DNA. Those 4 proteins, GTAC. Okay. So I want to make sure I cover everything. Detective, which is I already told you he's the prostate. Guardian means prostate. The slang term for detective is Dick. So you're dealing with Yesod, which is the 9th Sephirah. Sod in Hebrew means, Yesod means foundation, but Sod means secret. So what you're talking about is what the secret is, what you secrete. And Yod is the hand. So we're dealing with the hand, Yod and Sod. So the secret hand. So basically we're dealing with that again. I also want to point out it's 2 sides. So you got to imagine this is your body and somebody's facing you. So this is the positive or left side of your brain. This is the 10%. This is the negative or magnetism. All right. So we're dealing with electricity. This is Emmanuel. This is Mary Magdalene. So this is the balance. This is the mercy and Joaquin side. This is severity and the Boaz side. So mercy means like kindness. The severity can be discipline. So you know, mothers are more the disciplinarians because the father is gone working or whatever have you. And this is the balance, which is compassion. So you remember in the Jonah story, he really didn't have any mercy. He believed in just discipline and severity. All right, so he didn't have the right balance. He was a good guy. He was using the magnetic side, but he didn't balance it with the mercy. So he wasn't very compassionate. All right. So, you know, another thing I want to show you is you notice that in every hero story, I told you in every hero story, the hero or the savior figure never has his parents. In the story, John Murdoch's parents were dead. So he was raised by his uncle. Just like I told you, this is Uncle Henry. Henry means electricity, and I am means the rival or magnetism in the Wizard of Oz story. Because remember, she was raised by her auntie and uncle. Spider-Man by his auntie and uncle. Superman by his earthly father and mother. So it's always other than your biological parents raising you in these hero stories. So the same thing is here. I'm trying to tie all my videos together. So I want to impress upon you to watch all the videos and tie it all in. I repeat a lot of stuff, but it's better just to go in and try to look at all the videos. Alright. So, ooh, sorry about that. So I think I'm almost done. Let me just point out one thing. If you look up the etymology of uncle, so type in uncle and etymology, it's going to tell you it comes from the German word ohm, O-H-E-I-M, O-H-M, the Dutch What you need to know about the ohm sound, I'm sure you heard people say Basically, if you look at the ohm symbol, which we're dealing with, it's the resistance to electricity, electrical resistance. So I try to interpret that electrical resistance as magnetism. So what you do is trying to magnetize. That's what magic is about. It's about meditating your desire to change, using your will to change your physical universe, but you have to magnetize things to you, or what they call, they try to tell you half of it in the secret books that they were selling. So from Ohm, you get the word, it's O-H-M, which is symbolized with an omega system. So you can just look up this, but the omega means the great O, the mega O. What is the great O? The nothing. Zero means nothing, no thing. So this is the great nothing. That's all they're talking about. So if you look at it in Ohm, in Hindu religion, it says that's how God brought Himself into physical form, saying Om. The A-U and the M is the Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, which is really what I told you before: the generator, the operator, and destroyer. That's the God. So they consider that to be the name of God, or the vibration that He used to bring everything into the physical form. All right. So to go from this nothingness and bring it to right here. All right. So just look up Ohm, and then OHM, which deals with electricity. So Ohm became AUM, and then in the Kemetic symbol and in Christianity became Amen. So Amen is really your subconscious. The AM, I told you the ram headed. Anything to do with the ram is inside your head. Or Aries. The tribe of Gad is Aries. So everything with Aries is in your head. Or you become an airhead. Air means intellect. Or if you're airy, and if there's nothing in, there's no intellect in you, then you become airhead. Is really can be negative to be, meaning you're kind of dumb. Okay. Let me make sure I covered everything. I think I did. So I know I pointed out some things. So remember, if you want to look up this, what I meant by idolatry comes from the Gnostic. If you type in Sophia and Gnosticism, you would get the story of how she was basically represent Sephirah 3 or Saturn, and he was created, but he was below this abyss, so he didn't know about this up here, or Neptune's kingdom in the place of this movie. So he thought he created this world down here, this physical world, and he didn't know, he wasn't aware of anything above him. That's why he's a jealous God, and there's no gods before him. He's a demiurge, which means he's basically an aspect of your ego that created this physical world, and you can change this world. This is just pretty. Your DNA can change, so you should be able to change this. So people don't understand the difference between the creator is never becoming a physical existence. The creator created a blueprint in the sky called Adam Kadmon in the Jewish lore as a blueprint for us. So we're Adam Kadmon is in the heavens, and we're the physical representation of that. That's why our story is really in the stars. All right. So up here's the Titans, down here's the Olympians. So if you look at the story about Zeus, basically Uranus, which means heaven or sky, he was castrated by his son. So I think it was Kronos. So Kronos had a prophecy that one of his sons would kill him like he killed his father. So basically what Kronos did was castrate or cut the sky or cut this part off. That's what the castration symbolizes. And then his son Zeus, or Jupiter, which is below here, end up killing him, because Rhea, or his wife, end up making him swallow a rock, because he's eating up all his children, all his male children, so he wouldn't get killed, so the prophecy wouldn't come true. And Zeus end up killing him, and he had to spit out all his brothers and sisters. So that's the origin of that story. So Zeus later on with Jupiter becomes Jehovah or Yahweh or Dalabra. So that's what that is. So the story should be all tying in for all you who really can't really grasp the difference between the Creator, the Elohim, which is you or us, and Yahweh, which is a part of one of our thought programs that we use to build this matrix. So you got to go back to the Hebrew matrix. So Yahweh is just a program for this physical existence that we call, and it was built using Hebrew letters. Because remember, that's the word of God is the thought. So he said, let there be light. Let there be this, let. So he used letters to create this world. I told you in abracadabra, it's all about using letters and writing or rituals. Okay, so he let, and the word, the letters he used became the word, because in the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the letters. He used the letters to create the word, and then the word became flesh, which is you and I. All right. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, so hopefully I covered everything.